Well, it's time for another episode of Inclusion Talks, talking about all ability sports. So much to talk about in that space. And it's been wonderful to have a chat to so many outstanding people about their love of sport and the battles they've had in their lives to get involved in sport at a very high level. And we've got a very special guest again today. My name is Dan Lonigan. I'm the co-host. I'm really the minor party in this show. It's all the idea of my better co-host in Cindy Sharp. Cindy, good to have you with us, or Cindy McDougall, I should say. Good to have you with us, Cindy. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Dan. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've heard that name. So, Cindy McDougall back to now.
I'm sorry about that. But look, we'll do it again, eh? Let's do it again. I'll tell Joanne that we're going to do it again. I didn't like the start. Sorry, Tamsin, didn't like the start. Shocking. Sorry. My fault. Welcome to another episode of Inclusion Talks. It's a great pleasure to be here as we talk about all ability sport. My name's Dan Lonigan. We've had some outstanding guests. We've got another great one today. All inspirational stories about their love of sport, the battles they've had, the obstacles that they've managed to overcome to become very good at their chosen sport. Cindy McDougall is my co-host, and she organises most of this, and it's a great pleasure to have her with us once again. Welcome, Cindy. Good to have you with us.
Great to be back, Dan. So today on our Inclusion Talks podcast, we welcome Tamsin Colley. Tamsin is the youngest ever Paralympian, being only 13 years old when she arrived at the Paralympic village in Rio and competing just after her 14th birthday. Tamsin is a proud para-athlete, previously competing in athletics in the T36 classification, and soccer as an F11 athlete is her chosen pathway now. She has represented Australia on numerous occasions, but focuses on an incredibly promising Matilda's career. Recently, she has won the 2024 New South Wales and Australian Female Football Player of the Year award. And today we welcome her to the podcast. Tamsin, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and I'm excited to share more of my story.
Your journey is a pretty incredible one. You were diagnosed with a brain tumour shortly after you were born. It resulted in surgery that left you with a permanent disability. It shaped your early years, and in particular, you needed a lot of support in your early years. When did you first engage in sport, and how did your disability affect the options that you had in sport?
So I first got introduced to disability sport when I was around 6 years old. My mum took me to a disability athletics camp on Friday. Because she was a physio, she had a physio background, so I was always on the lookout for ways to keep me active and improve my rehabilitation. But having a physical disability meant that there were not many options available out there, like especially in team sports. Like I tried soccer early on, but it wasn't catered to people with a physical disability yet. So I stuck to athletics for a bit. But with the recent rise of CP football, I've been loving that, and it's great to see more increasing opportunities for people with a physical disability in all types of sports.
Did you do sport when you went to school, or was it not an option?
Well, I participated in individual sports like athletics and cross country through the school system, and even got to state and national levels. But I never did any team sports. I always tried out for the teams in that, but never got in due to my disability. Which is part of the reason why I was so excited when an opportunity came for people with cerebral palsy to excel in soccer.
Oh, it's fantastic. Did you have someone you looked up to, or someone who helped give you momentum to be a better athlete or a better footballer?
I had a lot of people I look up to. Two of the big ones are Matilda and Courtney Vine. But the whole Matilda team really gave me momentum to become a better footballer. And it's so great to see people with disabilities achieving in this sport. So anyone with a disability, basically, I really look up to who's achieving good things.
Love it. Dan, would you like to give a call out to our sponsors?
I'll do that, Cindy. Yes, of course, we're here for Aussie Home Loans. I deal with anyone in Australia. We've got clients in every state and capital. You won't need me to be here for much longer. That was outstanding. Areas of expertise of purchasing a property, owner-occupied or investment, building a property portfolio, refinancing, debt consolidation, cash out, construction, pre-approvals, first home buyers, equipment loans, car loans, and personal loans. And they've got over 25 lenders on their panel. Tamsin, if I could just ask you a question. Once you got into soccer, what was it about it that has made you fall in love with it?
Yeah, so I always as I mentioned, I did soccer growing up, and it was always a sport I really loved, but always felt left out of due to having a physical disability. Yeah, so just when an opportunity came for people with cerebral palsy to do it, I was really excited to try out for the Matildas, and yeah, just being in a team environment with everyone with similar disabilities where you all support each other. Yeah, it's so good and I love it. Yeah.
Excellent. And just in regard to the fact that you've got this opportunity, do you feel like you inspire people because you do have a disability and you are very good at what you do in the sports that you've chosen? Do you feel like you're an inspiration to people out there who may be considering playing sport but are worried about whether their disability might hold them back?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've always liked being part of the increasing representation of disability sport, and after we competed at the Paralympic Cup last year, we had people younger people with disabilities who came to that and came up to us after saying, or their parents said that was the first time their child saw people like them playing team sports, which was just a really special moment. So yeah, I really like being part of that change and part of that increased representation, so people with disabilities know that there are options out there for them to participate in sport at a high level.
Love it. So, Tamsin, you've represented your state at many national competitions, and I've been lucky to watch your journey over the last 10 years. I always loved watching you compete with and against my daughter, Caitlin. I looked up to your determination, and many times I watched you recover from falls or being unbalanced, and you'd always finish a race with a smile on your face, no matter what. You had such an incredibly happy aura about you. When you were named in the Rio Paralympics, it was something we all celebrated. But how did it feel to be named the youngest Paralympian? And what was it like to attend the opening ceremony in Rio at only 13 years old? Did you realise at the time that that was something incredibly special?
Yeah, thank you. It was such an incredible feeling competing at the Rio Paralympics and being the youngest one there. I yeah, absolutely loved it. Even having a birthday over there, I got thrown a surprise party and met the Governor General and had an interview with the oldest Paralympian. Yeah, it didn't dawn on me till a few years later the immensity of what I had achieved and being the youngest ever Australian track and field Paralympian. Yeah, I'm just so proud to have done that.
Just
Being
on
so
that,
far away from home in a non-English speaking country, how did that feel?
Yeah, it definitely did feel daunting, especially as well, competing well in my race. I was people about 3 times my age. Yeah, and I didn't speak much Brazilian, but I was safe in the team environment. My mom actually also went over to watch me and stayed near the village. Then at the end of my races, I got to see and sightsee with her. Yeah, but yeah, it was just a great experience.
so just on that, Tamsin, I mean, when did you realise in the lead up to Rio that at the age of 13, gee, I might be a chance here of going, and I'm just in my teens, of going to a Paralympics?
Yeah, so my Paralympic selection story was actually a bit different because I got selected late due to the Russians getting excluded, so I got a late call up. Yeah, so I just didn't really have that much time to prepare, so I don't think I really processed it that much before I went over there. I was still in year 8 at school, so yeah, my friends were all really excited for me. But yeah, I was just focused on going out and doing my best. And I actually did a lot of homework in the village because I yeah, had lots of maths homework to catch up on. Yeah, but just yeah, it was a great experience, as I said above.
Wow. Now we're here, of course, for Aussie Home Loans, and it's great to be here for Inclusion Talks who deal with anyone in Australia. We've got clients in every state and capital. They do Zoom as well. And our guest today is the youngest ever Paralympian at the age of 13. Yes, 13, back in Rio, of course, in 2016. Tamsin, do you think anyone younger will ever be chosen for a Paralympian team?
Yeah, well, I was you have to be at least 14 to compete at the Paralympics because you have to have an international classification, and that's the minimum age you can get that. So I was actually like lucky that my birthday fell on the a Paralympic year. So I was towards the young age that you could get in. Yeah, I'm the youngest who has competed in athletics. I think there's been younger swimmers. But yeah, it's just really good to get that opportunity at such a young age. Like I would yeah, hope to see more younger people competing at the Paralympics because it's just such a great opportunity, and you're with like in the village with everyone with different disabilities. It makes you feel really included, and yeah.
So you're very proactive in supporting awareness by speaking about your autism and your disabilities. You have two disabilities. Does that make it harder for you to train?
Yes, so I'm speaking, I enjoy speaking about disability awareness in any way I can, and also I'm very grateful that my autism actually I feel like it lends itself to elite sport because you love routine. And as long as I get in a good routine of like training and following my program from my coach, which includes some form of training twice a day. Yeah, it's just I get into a good routine of that, and then yeah, I really enjoy it. It's not all good though. Like it can mean I get really overwhelmed in uh, like events if they're really loud or if things don't go my way. But with some good strategies in place, I can manage that. It's definitely a challenge, and I'm always learning things that I can do to help manage it. But yeah, I like to do things that challenge me, like learning to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
That is awesome. You have a fantastic support team around you. And I've got to mention your mum, Kathy. She's pretty amazing. How much has her guidance and support helped you get where you are?
Yeah, so a lot. I'm lucky to have her. Without her support, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. Um, yeah, growing up, both my mum and dad, between them, they drove me to all my training and comps, which I couldn't be more grateful for. Um, we're all glad that I'm getting to the stage now where I can drive myself places. Um, but yeah, in times I didn't believe in myself too, she would always believe in me, which I'm so thankful for. And yeah, I think behind many great young athletes, there are great parents, which we sometimes may not think enough, but they're usually the reason for our success. So shout out to all the parents out there.
On that, is it hard to juggle those family commitments and friendships and sport?
Yeah, it's very hard. I've definitely had to make some sacrifices along the way. But yeah, I just wouldn't have it any other way, really. Um, yeah, having two main focuses at the moment, like study and sport, kind of relieves some of the pressure or stress. If you're like having a hard time in one, you can look forward to the other. Yeah, the best thing that I've done to manage the load and also keep up with my family commitments. I did both year 12 and my unique degree with a reduced load, which yeah, as well as helping me keep up with my disability. It allowed me to focus on being the best athlete I could, which is my degree. I'm studying exercise physiology. It really complements that, I think. So, yeah.
You train with Matthew Rawlings and have been part of his squad for quite a while, Team Zip. You're really great in building social media content as well, and a lot of your support of disabilities comes through that. I've got some great interviews that I've seen on the Team Zip page with your fellow athletes. Is social media a passion of yours? Is that something that helps you promote disability, and is it something that you love doing?
Yeah, it is. It's a good way to promote disability in sport, especially in a way that's accessible to everyone. Yeah, when I have time, I really enjoy creating content, both for Team Zip and my own social media challenges. There's a bit of a lack of representation in disability sport in the media, and I'm just proud to be contributing a small part to the broader increase in positive representation of disability in both media and sport. Yeah, and I really enjoy it. So it is a passion of mine.
This is Inclusion Talks.
Like you're chomping.
No. I'll just talk about our sponsors for a second. This is Inclusion Talks with Cindy McDougall and Dan Lonigan. Our guest today is Tamsin Colley, and we're here for Aussie Home Loans, who have plenty of areas of expertise, including purchasing a property, owner-occupied or investment, building a property portfolio, refinancing, debt consolidation, cash out, construction, pre-approvals, first home buyers, equipment loans, car loans, and personal loans. Back to you, Cindy. Yes, I'm generally always chomping to have a chat, but away you go.
Dan loves talking about inclusion in sport, and I've got him totally addicted to this, Tamsin. So I'd love to talk about the role that you have as an ambassador for Cerebral Palsy Sporting and Recreation Association. What do you love about your role as an ambassador, and what's something that you'd like to achieve in your time in that role?
Yeah, so I'm an ambassador for CPSI. I do some administration and promotional work for them, like I manage a membership list and monthly newsletter. I really enjoy getting the word out about the opportunities there are for people with cerebral palsy and other neurological conditions to do sport and recreation. I also manage a social media account, so I use my passion for content creation, which I love, and I also help organize and participate in the multi-sport events for people with disabilities a few times a year, and it's just so great to see people with disabilities participating in sport, sometimes for the first time in their life, like they didn't think they could do it before. So it's just great to help them get involved, which is something I've always wanted to do.
You've moved your focus in the last year to football. Now, I know this is a massive passion of yours now. You're a Matilda. What made you change direction? What made you go, this is something I want to do? Was it the team environment and getting a chance to be part of a team? Or what led to that big change away from athletics into football?
As I mentioned, I changed my main focus to CP football. Well, it was in 2022 after the Matilda's team was created. For people with cerebral palsy and acquired brain injuries in Australia. Football, it was always a game, I loved, and I tried it out when I was younger with a team with other people with disabilities, but they mainly had intellectual impairment, so I was the only one with a physical impairment, so I was kind of left behind in that. But just seeing opportunities for people with cerebral palsy to compete in that game, and I guess being in that team environment, like athletics can be kind of lonely sometimes, like even though you're in the team with everyone else, like competitions, you're like competing by yourself, and if you stuff up, it's your own fault. So being in that team environment, like everyone has a disability and brings each other up, is just really good, and you can strive to own goals, so that's good.
You've made a huge impact on the Paramatildas and are the current female footballer of the year, which is such an incredible accolade to get in such a short time. Despite being in soccer from a young age, you did mention that there are a lot of barriers, even leading into your, I guess, resurgence in football, that you struggled to find local clubs to become involved in. How did it feel to realise that even with disability inclusion growing in the last few years, that there were still places that found disability too hard to include?
Yeah, so firstly, you mentioned my Footballer of the Year, Female Football Week accolade. I'm so grateful to have received that. Yeah, I'm so grateful my wonderful club at the moment, Tamsin Park, actually nominated me for that. They're very inclusive. They were actually like the fifth club we contacted because everyone else didn't want to accept a player with a disability. Yeah, but I wouldn't have it any other way at the moment, and use other clubs not accepting me as like sure to kind of prove them wrong and be the best footballer I can be. Yeah, yes, I get it that they want to do well, and like maybe people with a disability like
Really too hard.
Yeah, they feel like they don't have a place on regular teams, but they still, I think they could like find a way to include people with disabilities in some way. So I'm so glad that some clubs are seeing that now, and it's definitely improving, but it's still a bit to go.
Do you think the rise of the Paramatildas has made a difference to that? And do you think that it helps how people see sport with people with a disability? What do you think we could do to improve the involvement in sport for people with a disability? Is it that we need more learning? Is it that we need more media exposure? What do you think could help improve it?
Yeah, so the Paramatildas, I think it has improved representation for people with disabilities in sport. Like previously, the only real widespread para sport that was like in the media and stuff were at the Paralympics, which is only every 4 years, and like people still, I have had some people who like see it as more of a participation event, but it's actually the highest level you can get to in that sport, and we train just as much as Olympians, if not harder. So but then with the parameters to just seeing like people with disabilities, and some people like myself when I was young, I wouldn't think people with physical disabilities, ambulant people too with physical disabilities, could excel in a team sport environment. So I think that your representation is just so good, and I think the key to getting more involvement in it would just be having more media representation so people know that there are the opportunities out there for them to pursue a sport to the level that they want to.
Tamsin Colley is our guest, and she, of course, is a star Paramatilda. Great to have her with us, with Cindy McDougall and Dan Lonigan on Inclusion Talks for Aussie Home Loans, who deal with anyone in Australia. They've got clients in every state and every capital, and they do what we're doing at the moment. They can also talk to you on Zoom, which has become a big part of what we do nowadays, obviously, since COVID 4 or 5 years ago. Now, Tamsin, you mentioned before about the fact it was hard that some clubs didn't want footballers or potential footballers with disabilities. Could you see one day, with the World Game being so popular at a community level, even though it can be expensive with your fees, etc., that all clubs may one day be able to cater for people that have a disability and make it an all abilities type team in the world football space?
Yeah, that's it's been something that I've had the like dream of it being like every club having like a disability like it could be a development program or just part of the teams, including people with disabilities. Yeah, they're just like at the moment, there's not as many people with disabilities who actually know that that's an option for them to do sport like that. So yeah, the increased representation now is so important, and like so people know that there are options out there, and if clubs have like opportunities for people with disabilities, they can like advertise that, so people with disabilities know. Like it has taken a lot of research from us to find like suitable programs for especially female footballers with disabilities, because a lot of the AWD space is dominated by males. But yeah, just opportunities for both genders and people with disabilities. Yeah, in like every club, or at least some, would be really good.
I think it's great, Dan, that the government is actually increasing initiatives. So I'm not sure recently, but whether it's just Victorian based, but there's been a lot of talk about regional inclusion grants and change our game for female participation. And I think that's very much the key, is that, you know, if the government get on board and they can find the way to increase learning and increase exposure, so media posts, social media, even your television and your print media getting on board and showing that there are opportunities available and actually making it visible, I think is very much the key. But really, it does come down a lot to government funding, because as Tamsin sort of said, it took her 5 attempts to find a centre that was happy to include disability. And a lot of time that comes down to a lot of centres are very poor when it comes to their volunteers, and it's usually the same people doing the same things. And sometimes with disability, that I've personally found in my previous role, was that a lot of people were already so time poor that they just felt that it was too hard. And I think the key to that is really getting that positivity around it, getting the learning, getting the social media out there, so that they actually understand it's not really that hard. It's just making some really simple adaptations and thinking maybe a little bit outside the square of your normal standards, where you really can make such a huge positive difference in the life of people. And that's part of the reason why I did the podcast. And that's why I love having people like Tamsin on, who are so passionate, because that's how we're going to see change happen, is by getting the voices out there and getting the understanding of the differences this can actually make to people's lives. And as Tamsin said, athletics can be a very lonely sport. And, you know, while you do have up to 16, 25, 30 people in some events, it's only you against your PB. So, you know, disability can be lonely in itself. Team sport is amazing. It gives that opportunity for connection, and it gives that opportunity for growth and communication. And I love that Tamsin is so proactive with her volunteering and her ambassador stuff. And I think that's what we need a lot of the more elite athletes to do, is to speak up and say, hey, this really isn't hard. Give it a go. We can make a difference. If there was one thing you could change, Tamsin, in the world of disability sport, is that what it would be? Would it be that it's more exposed in the media, that it is more proactive in building it? Or have you got a different thought on that?
Yeah, so yeah, for me, I guess it's just that increased exposure, like so people with disabilities know that there are opportunities out there, and also like making it equal to able-bodied sport, and like all areas, like representation and opportunities, and even funding for yeah, people, like, because they often need to like self-fund to go to the higher level. So yeah, just like because people might think it's a side, like a little side quest, like people, when they want to, they can go, but like it should be like the same as like an able-bodied person going to represent their state or country. Same with people with disability. It's like the disability sport is like no less important than able-bodied sport. So yeah, I would just like people to see it like that, and with more people getting involved in that, like it already has improved, and I'm sure it will in the future. So it's really interesting to see if it will. Yeah.
Do you have
Really
more?
would be great to see that grow.
Do you have more confidence, Tamsin, in yourself with all the sports you've been playing and the fact you're on social media regularly and positively promoting the sports? Do you feel you're a much more confident person getting involved in sport?
Yeah, I do. So because when I was growing up, like I was the only one really with a disability in my school, like having that connection with other people with disabilities, which I found through Passport has you can interact with other people with similar disabilities and like compete in a relatively level playing field with them. So just having that connection with other people with disabilities, I think definitely increases your confidence in yourself, because you can see that it's like a perfectly normal thing to have a disability, and you can just chase your dreams no matter what. And also the social media stuff, like you can think that like having a disability, especially like your self-worth, you might not think that you can make a difference in like the lives of other people, but like being on social media so much, like, and like being a very small part of the increasing representation, like I've seen that some people with disabilities have said I make an difference in their lives, and that's really good to see. I love to like have even the smallest impact on other people's lives, and it really makes me confident in myself and them to have that. Yeah.
You mentioned that you played in the Asia Oceania Championships, and I hope I got that right. That was pretty soon after you got involved. Was that a good experience for you? And that, I guess, is for me the big thing, is that you changed sports, you got involved with a relatively new situation. So when you started, the Paramatildas were still quite new. You got to go overseas with a team of people that had a similar disability to you. What was that experience, and what did you enjoy the most about that?
It was just an amazing experience. Like it was last year the Asia China Championships, and it was my first international football tournament. I definitely hope it will be my last. And the Paramatillas, they're just such a great team, like really determined. Everyone has like similar disabilities, but they don't let them define them, and just chase their dreams no matter what. Being in that team environment really just brought you up and made you feel like you could achieve anything you set your mind to. And meeting all the other competitors was really special. I also went on to score 4 goals in that tournament, which is just amazing. I'm really proud of myself for doing that. And the Paramatildas, we won the trophy at the end, which was definitely a highlight of my sporting career. And seeing even there was a country there that hadn't had a cerebral palsy football team before, so it's so great to see them having the increased opportunities for people with disabilities too. So and seeing that improvement is really special.
What's the next event for the Paramatildas? What's coming up for them?
So the next big competition for the Paramatildas is the 2024 IFCPF World Cup in November. I'm training hard to be selected, but even if I don't get in, I'll be cheering for the team from home, definitely, and will switch my focus to the next one. To be able to have a cerebral palsy football team in such a big event, I'm really excited for, no matter what.
This is Inclusion Talks for Aussie Home Loans with Cindy McDougall and Dan Lonergan. Tamsin Colley is a Paramatilda. She is our guest today. It's great having her on. Tamsin, you talked about scoring goals. Obviously, you like playing as a striker. Is that your role? That's what suits you best?
Well, in cerebral palsy football, it's five-a-side actually. So there's one goalkeeper, so four on the pitch. So we rotate a lot, like in positions. So I'm not always a striker. I do like the thing when I score goals, but I also like my defense. In club football, I play mostly as a defender because it's 11-a-side. So my even my background as a runner suits me more for that. But yeah, I just really like any opportunity I can to play football, a new position on the pitch. So yeah.
As we know, sport is a really short period of most athletes' life. You mentioned before you're doing a course at university around sport, which is quite a common theme, I think, with a lot of the elite athletes that we've had on, that sport becomes such a passion for them that they follow it into a career. What are your life goals and where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Great question.
Yeah, so in 5 years' time, I definitely hope I will still be doing sport, but I'm still also studying exercise physiology. Yeah, I'm doing it part-time to manage a load. So in 5 years, I will be towards the end of my degree, and after that, I will be an accredited exercise physiologist, which was always my goal in life. And then I'll get to work with people with disabilities to improve their lives through exercise, whether that be in a gym or clinic setting. Yeah, so just being able to be part of improving someone else's life through exercise and the multiple like physical and social and mental benefits and stuff it provides. So yeah, that's always been a really big goal of mine.
You're obviously a very organised person, Tamsin, and that's come about because of your sport commitments, university commitments, your other study commitments. Has that always been the case, or is that something you've developed over the years, realising, okay, I'm going to have a busy life here, I've got to make sure that I fit everything in properly and comfortably?
Yeah, I think being an elite athlete and also studying at university at the same time, you have to be organized, otherwise you won't be able to fit everything in. But I really like organization, like with also being autistic, like the love of things being in order and stuff. So yeah, I'm really into my organization, do a daily schedule for myself like every day. So yeah, I just really like following that and making time for like all of my passions in the one day. Yeah, so organization, like I've always really enjoyed it, but I think it's been strengthened due to having to be so organized. So yeah.
I was actually going to say, Dan, I think that's been a strength of Tamsin for a very long time, is that her structures are incredible, and the way she sets her goals and the way that she is organized. And I've seen it at events, you know, with her warming up and her call room procedures and even her after event procedures. I think it's a testament to how well she does in her sports. And I also think it's a testament to how well she handles her disability as well, because she makes sure that she can prioritize and structure things so that her health is actually at its optimal as well. And that's something that I think I've seen in her from a very young age. And I think it's definitely held her in good stead and will definitely help in that team environment as well, because that's quite pressured and quite different to the US environment. So yeah, I love that question, Dan. I think it's something that is definitely an incredibly strong and important part of Tamsin and a great part of who she is. Tamsin, if you could give one message to another athlete or a young person looking to become involved in parasport, what advice or message would that be?
Yeah, so to young me or anyone with a disability who especially wants to get involved in sport, I would just say to give it a go. Sport can improve your lives in so many ways. It's definitely improve my life for the better. And yeah, I think everyone with a disability should at least try passport at any level or something, and like, because they might not realize that they can take it as far as they wish to. Yeah, so, and yourself or others may not think you can do it, but yeah, I definitely take I guess you could say pride in proving other people wrong. And yeah, if they don't think you can do it, you can just yeah, show them you can. And just having a disability and being able to compete in sport in any way you wish, I would yeah, it's just so great. So I would say to anyone with a disability, just give passport a go. You might love it and it might change your life a bit.
Absolutely. Well, Tamsin, it's been a great pleasure chatting to you today. I'll use the I word. You're an inspiration. I mean, you were a Paralympian at the age of 13, just before your 14th birthday, so the youngest ever. That's not likely to be beaten anytime soon. Back in Rio in 2016 in athletics, you've now become an excellent footballer in such a short space of time in the Matilda's team. We hope you make the next major event, as you mentioned, in November. You probably deserve to be there. And we thank you for joining us on Inclusion Talks. And we're, of course, here for Aussie Home Loans. You deal with anyone in Australia. They've got clients in every state and capital. They do Zoom as well. Their areas of expertise include purchasing a property, owner-occupied or investment, building a property portfolio, refinancing, debt consolidation, cash out, construction, pre-approvals, first home buyers, and also plenty of loans from equipment, car loans, personal loans. And they've got 25 lenders or over 25 lenders on their panel. So we thank you very much. Well done, Cindy, an outstanding get. And we wish you all the best going forward in your quest to become one of the greats in the Paramatildas team.
Such an exceptional role model, Tamsin. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed chatting with you.